My name is Melissa Gilliland, and I shoot professionally in the Precision Rifle series. The first time I ever picked up a firearm, I was probably around 6 or 7. It was a BB gun, and I used to go out and plink at Pepsi cans. My dad taught us at a really young age about firearms and educated us about the safety. I was young. I didn't start competitive shooting until I was around an older age, we'll say. And I started competitively shooting in 2012. I first attended a match with my husband back in early 2012. It was all long range, of course, and it looked like a lot of fun. I mean, they were hitting targets at the longest distances, and it just amazed me that a small little bullet can just ting like that. I mean, it would take a few seconds for it to get there. People at that actual match were like, "Where's your rifle? Why aren't you shooting too?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know I could do this." And so over the next 3 months, my husband worked with me and kind of taught me the basics of long range shooting. There's a lot of math that goes into it. And that is what started the bug. And I didn't know how hard I was going to get bit until I really started digging into it. So learning long range, I had to work at it because it's not something that you can just pick up and go at. There are the distances, there's elevation. My husband taught me how to hold for wind. He was a former sniper in the Army, and so I took the sniper manuals that he had and I correlated basically the human targets over into the still targets, because that's what we shoot at, is still targets at distance. So it was definitely a learning curve when I first started shooting. In the type of shooting that we do, you are not just shooting in a prone position, you're shooting off, it's very positional. So you're shooting off different barricades. You might be shooting out of a bus window. You might be shooting off of natural terrain like rocks, or off the trees, like they'll have the tree limbs down low and stuff that you have to build a position off of. But I love shooting, they call them troop lines, where you are laying in prone and you are just shooting out at distance. I know in Oklahoma we shoot out to like 1,600 yards. I know we have shot out to a mile before out west. In every match, there's just something special about every match and the location. The more out west you are, you will see a lot of longer distances because you've got more terrain. I know down in Texas, Reveille Peak had a lot of natural terrain. So it was more of like the hills, like you're shooting from one hillside to another hillside. I know in Alabama, down in Florida, it's more flat. There's always, like I said, there's so much that goes into, and I think that's what lit the fire in me, because you've got to think about all these things at one time, and I'm a multitasker anyway. So there's all these one things that go into that one shot. So you've got to make sure your elevation's on, your wind is on, your bolt's back. But it's so much fun. You would absolutely love it. Because this is a male-dominated sport that I shoot in, and when I first started shooting back in 2012 and 2013, I was one of the only females that shot regularly around the country. And in the beginning, it used to make me nervous because it was like, I didn't want people looking at me going like, what's this blondie gonna do, So it was very nerve-wracking, but you learn to kind of conquer your fears and you put yourself out there. At the time, I was asked to do a calendar called the Tac Girl Calendar. I agreed to do that because it raised money for AmericanSnipers.org. They raise money to help buy the essential gear that the guys need overseas because they don't get everything that they need. And so I saw that as a great opportunity to give back. I used to help a group called A Girl and a Gun. And for 3 or 4 years, I was the lead instructor for the long range portion for the women. And I tell you, just seeing the excitement, I mean, I would have women jumping up like they just absolutely could not believe that they actually hit that target, at 600 yards. It doesn't matter what size you are or what color hair you've got, or, everyone starts somewhere. So I just wanted to kind of break the mold.